What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I'm your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve. Steve, I just want to jump right into it, man. I want to see how you're doing first, though, but then I want to really talk about the Real Betis match. What's going on, bro?
Well, good morning to everyone. What's going on? Not a whole lot, Sunday summary time. We had our first match, which was cool. First match not behind closed doors.
Yeah, no, not against Preston.
It's always funny to me. It's like, first of all, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I didn't even know that match was coming. Preston. And it's like, oh yeah, Liverpool lost to Preston North End behind closed doors.
We
I'm
always
like,
have one
why
of
don't they
those.
just call it private?
Does it matter?
Behind closed doors. It's like a business, like, I don't know. It's like too professional of a term, of a phrase. It doesn't, whatever.
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling this morning, Kyle. I'm pissed that it was behind closed doors.
You're always pissed about something, bro. You're always pissed about the play style or behind closed doors or the fact that they didn't start Sepp on right wing. Like, you're always pissed about something.
Yeah, somebody's got to be.
And look, I'm just going to disclose it to the chat right now. I mean, when we were watching the match, and we'll get into analyzing it as well, you were basically just like, I don't like this. I don't like the style that we're playing with. Or what did you say specifically?
I said, this doesn't look right. Something looks off. And in that moment, I had forgotten, like, oh, this might be a totally new system. Now, I still expected the style of play to be somewhat similar, and I guess in some ways it is. We'll talk about that today. But like the first couple minutes, we gave the ball away right on the 18, right on our own 18-yard box, twice.
That was Endo's fault.
Right. Well, one was him and one was somebody else, but it just seemed like the formation and the style we were playing makes it so that our center backs don't have much time.
None.
Now,
Yeah.
we love the fact that we'll talk about what we like about it, but we also hated when Virgil and Konate had all the time in the world and all they did was pass it around the back.
It's all they did.
Right.
All they did.
So there's pros and cons to that. I was comfortable in those moments in the former system. I wasn't panicked, but it wasn't as exciting as I think some of the stuff we saw the other day and what we'll see this season. But it's a little nerve-wracking. It's preseason, so thankfully. I think it'll look much cleaner when we have Konate, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, whoever, Trent, Robbo. But it looked a little frantic back there, where if you put 1 foot wrong, like you've said many times, a lot of one-touch passes, you love that. If you're one-touch passes in a high stakes moment, there's a lot of room for error.
Oh, yeah.
So
especially when you're playing out from the back.
Right. It makes me nervous. Like Sepp Vandenberg, left foot, one-touch pass, trying to thread the needle up to Endo and break their press. There's gonna be a lot of errors if that's how we're gonna play. So I didn't like that portion of it, but it was exciting that we had a lot of balls over the top, a lot of random midfielders making random runs, which was cool. So I don't know. You tell me, what do you think?
So the first thing that I noticed was the formation. So we immediately were playing with a double pivot, right? You had Curtis Jones and Endo picking up the ball almost directly from, Sepp and Kwanzaa. And it almost didn't seem like we had talked about. There wasn't a lot of passing back and forth between the center backs. It was a direct pass to the pivot guys so they could progress the ball. Like the pivot guys were the decision makers. And if they were pressed, they would just immediately pass it back to the center backs. But if you looked at the formation, and I'm going to pull up something as well here.
It was
just in a minute, just so everyone can kind of see. But it was almost, and I said this, and you were like, "What the hell are you talking about?" It looked like an inverted pyramid, Steve. It looked narrow at the back, and then it widened up towards the wingers, right? And I know he lined up in a 4-3-3. Okay, I know he did. But because of that, right, because we were in this inverted pyramid look, you saw runs in behind constantly from Salah and from Carvalho in that first half. Shit, even from, Connor Bradley when he actually advanced and he did those overlapping runs. To me, that was the hallmark of the difference, right? You can talk about the one-touch passing as well, but the runs in behind, when I saw that, I'm like, I'm just not used to this. I'm used to Van Dijk and Konate just passing the ball back for like 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden a long diagonal pass to Salah. I mean, to me, it was exciting football to watch, and there were so many opportunities created simply from a one-man run in behind or a quick break. I mean, when you look at the goal, for example, I think you had I'm not sure who made the pass to Salah, but Salah and Szoboszlai were running vertical to each other, and they just advanced the ball quickly through the lines, and it was a one-touch finish. It was awesome. It was so cool to watch, bro. That offensively, those are the main differences that I noticed.
Could you do me a favor?
It depends what that favor is.
Could you break down the inverted pyramid for me again?
I would love to, Steve.
Just give me a quick overview of what the heck you're talking about.
Okay, so really,
like a triangle offense upside down in football.
I could say inverted triangle. How about that? Because it's not a pyramid. I don't know why the hell I said pyramid.
Well, it's a three-dimensional triangle
cake.
Nonetheless. It's a triangle nonetheless. It doesn't matter.
It's a triangle with four sides, right? I get it, and a square on the bottom. So
no, I'm saying like you don't have to say inverted if you're going to switch to triangle. You don't have to say inverted because there's no correct orientation for a triangle necessarily.
I understand. So let's just say triangle, okay? So when you look at how I just want to pull up a picture of it.
Just give me a shape with your fingers. You're talking like this.
So let's go defense up here. So you got defense is narrow, attackers are wide. So it's like this, and then the line of the defense. So we were positioned like that. So you had Kwanzaa and Sepp narrow, very close to each other. They were about 10 yards apart at most. Then you had Tsimikas and Bradley kind of hugging the pivot guys, right? The pivot guys were right there. But then the rest of the midfielders and the wingers were hugging the touch lines. So it was just the width up front was massive, but at the back it was narrow.
But then you had like Szoboszlai and Salah up top, narrow-ish.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like.
So it's a diamond.
No.
Or a square.
No, because there's no point. Like the guys at the top, just shut up.
Just a line. You're right. Actually, it was just a line, and it was like they're all, dude. It looked like a freaking like a 100-meter dash up top in the line. They're all just like waiting, like who's gonna go? I got it.
Yeah, and Carvalho, if you watched Carvalho in that first half, Carvalho literally was making runs and throwing his arms up every 10 minutes or every 10 seconds. He was running and then like no one wanted to pass it to him. And I'm like, Carvalho, shut up. You scored 4 goals at Hull. Or whatever he scored. I don't know, 7. Aylor says, against Real Betis, Liverpool played with a 4-4-2 formation from the back and changed the formation in attack. Yes, and the 4-4-2, if everybody moved together defending, everyone was shifting with each other. They weren't collapsing. So they were, when Betis had the ball in their half, Liverpool pressed, right? They did a standard press. That looked pretty good. But when we were forced back into our half defending our goal, everyone moved together with the ball and shifted and moved together and then collapsed when the players attacked. That's what I noticed. For me, it just looked so different from Klopp. Like Klopp is just, when Klopp had the ball, was just so patient.
Well, I think the players just had great chemistry under Klopp too. They've been playing together for years and they knew what he wanted to do. So they were more relaxed. Now, I don't even know if we have a formation. Like, Aylor
And
says 4-4-2. You said 4-4-3. Before the
er,
match, ESPN said 4-2-3-1. I think it's just a ever-changing, fluid approach. When you're defending, let's just say we're playing against a team that has possession and they're passing the ball around the back, I think you'll see more stability, more of a formation. But it's hard to tell what was really going on, or
this is
what formation they were playing. It's just like they were fluid.
and this is what I'm talking about in attack, right? So you have the narrow, all these guys are narrow. There's all this space right here, but then you have the wingers out wide. So when you draw it, it's kind of a triangle look. All right. So obviously it's not a perfect triangle, but whatever. But going back to what you were talking about, Soboslai and Elliott here are almost in a double 10 role or like a double false nine. Doesn't it look like that? And then you have two wingers right here. It's almost like a 2-4-2-2. I mean, this is such an interesting setup. But again, Slot did say the only reason he played this way was because he doesn't have a striker at camp right now. So he had to play two guys forward. In fact, there are reports coming out this morning, guys, that Szoboszlai is being tried on the wing.
What wing?
Right?
Right?
I don't know.
It's got to be right because that's the side he plays on, first of all. Second, maybe he wants to put Salah up top.
Maybe he does. When I saw the lineup as well, I saw the 4-2-3-1 with Salah up top.
I don't love that
I
because
hated
while
it.
he can finish, he needs space. He's not going to get any space
Right.
if he's playing up top centrally. There's no space. He doesn't put a good head on the ball. So the deliveries coming in, that's not who you want on the end of it. If Trent's whipping in crosses. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I don't think Szoboszlai is going to play on the right. He's definitely not playing on the left. So those rumors, I don't think they make much sense for me.
Well, Szoboszlai
Yeah,
can't play
Stellar
left
here.
mid. You know what I mean? Oh, here he is. He's back. The legend.
Yeah, he said I think Slot's experimenting. I think that's exactly what it is. He's half the whole starting 11 practically isn't there.
Right.
No one's there.
And Ardio says that it was a 4-3-3 on paper, but then the fullbacks push up into midfield and the keeper becomes a third center back. And you did notice that at times throughout the game where, say Betis cleared or there was a try to long ball in behind that was too heavy. Kelleher was quick off it. Like he played out. Like you can even see it here in this picture, right? He's playing right on the edge of the 18. So Allison is going to be perfect for that, right? He's built for that, but it's pretty risky. And it's also pretty risky going back to what you were talking about at the beginning to actually play out from the back, promoting pressure, like holding on to the ball until that first man presses and then trying to get rid of it because you're always going to have a man advantage. To me, that's stressful. I don't want to go through 38 Premier League games playing like that. But if that's the style we got to get used to, it might have to be that way. Good morning to Lyle. How you doing, man?
Well, no one's better at Virgil than being patient and letting a defender come to him to pull that player out of the equation and then move the ball. He does that so good. It's something we never talk about, but he does that masterfully. He doesn't make a pass just to make a pass. There's a reason behind every pass. Do you understand what I'm saying? If there's a player closing him down, he will wait until the last safe moment and then move it out to Robbo. And then make that ping.
Right.
Which I love.
I like that too. And that's actually a good point. Did you feel watching the game that the players were actually trying to play that way? They were trying to invite that pressure and then time it to where they could do those one-touch passes.
Potentially.
Because that's a good way to do it. if you're trying to break through the lines as opposed to trying to use just raw skill and passing to break through the lines, which is tough.
Yeah, I think there's an element of that for sure. I think every manager would have their team do that. I think that's football 101 is every pass has a purpose for the most part. If there's an attacker closing you down and you're a defender, let him come to you. That way, when you make the pass and you start working out from the back, he's out of the equation on the counterattack. There's not somebody hugging Endo or your defensive midfielder at that point because he's on you. So when that person gets the ball, they're either free or they have one less defender in the mix. And then you have an advantage on the counter.
I don't feel like that was the case under Klopp, but I'm not trying to debate you because I do agree that it's smart to play that way regardless. One person who did struggle with that was Endo. He gave the ball away several times. And Endo is a guy who kind of needs to get it and turn, right? He needs to take a few touches, scan the field. He was struggling with that one touch play. That's the only person I noticed who was struggling with it.
I'm a little concerned, actually. I mean, he was awful. It doesn't matter because it's preseason.
Pretty bad. Yeah.
But if we are going to play that double pivot, McAllister's perfect for it because he'll get some freedom to go forward. He's got great range on his passing and he makes quick decisions. Endo's not that guy. Endo's not going to get the ball, turn, one touch, diagonal. We've seen it, but it's not a staple in his game. So let's just say we do play the pivot, the double pivot. Like it's a 4-2-3-1, 4-2, whatever. Even, I guess 4-3-3 wouldn't be applicable to this question, but who would be the two? Who would be the second guy? McAllister's nailed on, but is it Endo?
There's our sixth problem, right? And that's kind of what Haylor touched on here, but something was very evident from the get-go, and that's for our number 6 problem, right? You got McAllister. Curtis Jones was tried in that system, or that position. I'm going to be honest. He looked great in it. I like Curtis Jones in that 6 because he's great on the ball. I've said this time and time again. Curtis Jones in possession, he just doesn't lose it. He's really good on the ball, but he got injured in the 26th minute. So now we got another problem. And
yeah, what's the status?
You check for me. What's the update? In chat, let us know. Jeffrey Hunt, what's going on, man? Aylor says Conte in his prime would have been perfect. And RDO says he thinks it'll be Endo and Jones. But it couldn't just be Endo and Jones. Okay, it's got to be McAllister, right? And let's just, for the sake of argument, say Szoboszlai plays in the 10, right? Say it is a 4-2-3-1, even though it could be a fluid 4-3-3 where two of the guys come back. It really doesn't matter what formation. Clearly, there's a double pivot. That's what he's going to play with. So then your question becomes, is Endo good enough based on what you just saw? Sample size is way too small. We can't make any conclusions because everyone needs to learn the new system, okay? Endo's just probably not used to quick, one-touch technical football like that. You know, it seems like Endo's a very slow and methodical guy and doesn't like playing with his back to goal, it seems like. But Curtis Jones could definitely do it. McAllister could definitely do it. And then, which we got to talk about as well, Steve Nyoni. That kid was great in that match.
So, a couple things. First of all, I agree with this. I don't agree that Jones is rubbish. Michael Ramsey, channel troll / legend. We can't have this. We can't have Endo and Jones starting in the double pivot. That's for sure. For me.
Because then who's sitting on the bench, bro?
Dude, like it's fine in a preseason game. It's fine in a cup game. But imagine that against Manchester City. Or, right. It just doesn't seem, it could work. Mm-hmm. We've seen them both play at very, very high levels. In fact, the last time Endo played City, he was immense. Right. He was our best player in that match. But it's got to be McAllister and then somebody else. Question then becomes, like, let's just say it is a 4-2-3-1 before we talk about Nyoni, which would be interesting. I think that our best I think that might allow us to get our best players involved. Backline picks itself for me. Trent, Robbo, Van Dijk, Konate. The only question mark I have really is that double pivot. Let's say it's Endo and McAllister. I think that would be our best bet.
It probably would be, yes.
Then you'd have Salah on the right. You could put Szoboszlai at a 10. And then Diaz, I guess, on the left.
Mm-hmm.
The odd man out could be Jota or whatever. And then Nunez up top, Jota up top, Gakpo, whatever you want to do. Like, that's a killer lineup.
It's a killer lineup, but where's it weak is Endo, the Endo spot. And I'm not saying Endo's not good enough, but in this system, right? If Endo is a lone holding midfielder, right? And I know you can agree with this. As a lone midfielder in Klopp's system, he could do the job because he really wasn't picking up the ball too much. Like yeah, he'd receive a back pass, but when Van Dijk or Konate have it, they're not immediately looking to give it to Endo. They're actually trying to feed it to McAllister or Jones or Szoboszlai, whoever's flanking Endo in that 4-3-3, or even Trent. They're trying to give it out to Trent and play in the channels out there. I feel like Endo's job was a defensive player to win back possession and then quickly feed the ball out. Whereas as a pivot, Endo is actually tasked with creating progression. Like, let me pick this up and let me do an outlet pass or something. I think McAllister's built for that. I think Jones is built for that. I don't know if Endo is.
No, so maybe, yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. I love it. We love Endo. I mean, he was awful the other day, but I think we'll see a lot better performances from him.
Sure.
But so maybe it is McAllister and Jones. Only problem there is, like, Jones isn't defensive, and McAllister isn't a defensive first midfielder either.
But he can certainly.
He can.
Yeah.
He can, but we want to see these guys play to their strengths. That's one of the issues we had last year, was because of lack of depth. McAllister, the first 20 games of the year, was playing defensive midfielder, and it just didn't seem right. So it'll be interesting. But back to Nyoni. Talk about somebody that can get the ball and turn and find a pass with range and touch.
Dude, it was unreal. He could.
So smooth.
So smooth. I mean, there was one play where, God, I can't remember who he fed. I think it was right when Harvey Blair came on and like 7 of those substitutes were made. Bro, he fed the ball through to Harvey Blair with not even a pass. It was like there was a pass made to his feet and it was too heavy. So he had to like adjust his foot, and he just let the ball touch his foot and weighted it enough so it just rolled through. Like, he wasn't making a pass. It was almost
like a deflection, like a purposeful deflection.
Purposeful. It was so beautiful when they played it in slow motion. And I was so impressed with Nyoni. For me, he was the player of the match. He was that good for me.
Easily player of the match. I think he won it, didn't he? Didn't he get the award for player of the match?
I'm not exactly sure who won player of the match. If anyone can fill me in on that, that would be great.
I believe it was him. Dude, like, if we keep him around and we use him sparingly, who knows if he's going to do that every time, right? Like, we don't know. But I feel like we need a player like that. Let's say in a match where somebody's parking the bus, you got Endo on, like, they're not the other side's not really a threat to score. We got all our defenders healthy. We got Allison back there. He may be a guy you bring in for an Endo or for a Jones in the 60th, 70th minute, just to create something, just to get the ball, turn, look ahead, make a diagonal, put in a through ball out on the wing. He's got that in his game, and it's nice and it's smooth. So I also wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see him at all until next preseason.
That's
right. Like,
it's just one of those really annoying facts about preseason is you can see some of the best performances and you don't see the dude again. Okay. And that annoys me because when this dude came on, I legitimately felt like we have something here. For some reason, I thought he was a striker. And then I went back and looked, and I'm like, okay, he's actually a midfielder. I don't know why I thought he was a striker. Maybe I'm thinking of Jaden Dans. That's probably who I'm thinking of, who wasn't
Where's he?
included. He wasn't included in the preseason squad. I don't know if it was through injury or what, but he wasn't included in the preseason
It's
squad.
got to be. It's
Yeah.
got to be. Here's something
And
we have to address. Go ahead, finish your point. But
hold
yeah,
on.
this is the same topic here. That's
Okay.
what I was pulling up.
So I'm going to present this because I really do. I really wanted to talk about Trey Nyoni, dude, because he looked so good. So I'm going to share. We're going to just kind of commentate on this video here, but it's just really good play from this kid. And we talked about it. He's kind of almost a creative defensive midfielder. And Spy on Cop upload this little compilation here, but just 17 years old, and the way he picks the ball up. I've made this a video about this with Connor Bradley. Just pure confidence.
That's a Thiago pass right there.
Holy crap! So Nyoni created the chance for the goal.
Yeah. There's a pass here where he switches field when we're going the other way. It must have been in the second half. That I was just like, oh yeah, that's smooth. We need
I
that.
mean, look
Like,
at
look
that.
at that.
And look at he was the best player on the pitch, Steve.
Look at he's calling the shots. He's pointing things out.
And to me, this, just based on this, I need a little more. But based on this kid's performance, he needs to play this year.
Well, dude, you think about somebody like Kobe Mainu, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody was talking about him at the beginning of the season. And then he gets a chance and this is what Mainu does. Like this is what he looks like when you watch him play. He makes things happen. Could this be our version of a Kobe Mainu or when Trent first broke into the side? Could this be the year where we get to see another one of those?
I really hope so. And we thought we had that with Bacetich. We probably still do. He just struggled with the injury. But when you think about our young talent, oh my
Look at
God,
that.
what is this kid doing?
All right, here there's going to be a ball coming through. It's just like a soft curling ball out to the winger. It might be this right here.
It's this one. No, it's not
Nope.
this one. But I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Look at that.
It's in the second half too.
Yeah, and his accuracy, man. He's accurate.
Yeah.
I love that we're watching this because I forgot about a lot of these.
Me too. You always do when you're watching it. And then here, just a soft little layoff. Carvalho needs to do better here, but
That wasn't that bad.
I'm just liking what I'm seeing. It's coming
It's
up,
just great, dude.
This is the one. This is the one.
Yeah, like that right there.
Yep.
Now
Look at that.
it's the obvious pass, but we just don't see those.
Right.
Unless it's Thiago.
Oh my God.
Look at this. That's nuts, dude.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, man. And you made a comment in the Discord when I said Nyoni's solid. You said he's good, but he's not what we need. We're talking about the need for a 6 that can pick the ball up and
No. That was in response to a Kubo. Somebody in the chat, I think it was Lyle, sent a Kubo video and asked if we need him, and I don't think we do.
See, I thought you were talking about Nyoni. Everything I'm watching here is just look at that pass.
Dude, I know that's a Thiago pass. That's the only thing I keep thinking of is like, man. And maybe I'm so excited about it because we didn't see that last year.
Right.
Thiago was out the whole year. You don't have many guys that are looking to make those interesting passes. And maybe there it is right there.
That's the one. Where he look at this, guys. Like that's like just a calculated touch.
Yeah, here he goes. He's got pace. He's got composure. His movement off the ball was immaculate.
Immaculate.
Make a pass and make yourself available immediately thereafter. Let us know in the chat what you guys think of that.
Yeah,
he was a bit like Modric. Like, dude, it's crazy.
Now, Aylor brings up, says, hey, see, no pressure, vacation football. I just look, okay, let's make that point. You're right, it's preseason football.
Let's stay polite in the chat, please.
Yeah. And Danny Pacheco, preseason wonder. We Samuel says here, we have a star in our hands in Trey Nyoni, and we hope he can stay fit in his progression. There's clearly star power potential. Clearly. All right, there's no arguing that. Sample size is small, though. Let's see how he does in preseason, because usually the way preseason works, at least under Klopp, was everyone gets a chance at the beginning. But by the end, there's certain players that are playing that deserved it based on their performances, right? So we're probably not going to see Owen Beck play anymore. Like, let's just be real. We're probably not going to see Kumas play anymore, right? Like some of these guys, like they're good, but they're going to play 1 or 2 matches and then that's it. But Nyoni's going to play. Ben Doak is going to play. These are players that are just flat out good. And by the end of preseason, we will know if Nyoni is going to be in the squad. The problem then becomes, which is against the argument we made last week, Steve, is the depth, because he's fighting the likes of Bacetich, Tyler Morton, and Gravenberch, who would probably be above them, right? And Gravenberch doesn't even get that much playing time anyway. So it really puts into perspective how good you have to be to play in the first team in the regular season.
Oh, right. Every game. I feel like especially this season, dude, I don't know how it could have ever gotten more intense or how games could have gotten more important, but it feels like this season, every match is going to be more important than every match last season.
Yep.
In some weird way, because we let the league go last year, right? Because we have a new manager. Because as of right now, we haven't brought anyone in. And
we're the only club officially now who haven't made any signings. Fulham signed Sessegnon on a loan. Officially the only club to make no signings, guys.
Sessegnon, wasn't he already there?
Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah, I think he was already there. In the
no, I think his brother. Shit, was it? Did they sell him?
He was at Tottenham too.
I think they sold him to Tottenham, and then they're loaning him back. You might be right, but he also has a brother. He has a brother, so maybe we're thinking of his brother. I'm not sure.
Wait, there's a comment here I want to find. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Hannah. Not gonna lie, I think we need experienced players as well. Right. So that's the thought. That's the balance when you think through someone like Nyoni is like, yeah, he looks great. We've only seen him once, so we understand that. If he can play like that, if he can bring that sort of creativity to the midfield, I would love to see him play. At the end of the day, we need more experienced players. But every few years, you get a guy that comes in like this, that slots right in, no pun intended, and it's almost like they just skip the progression phase. They go from someone who we didn't care about to a nailed-on starter at the highest level. Trent Alexander-Arnold, great example. It's rare, but every few years you get something like that.
Yep. Kwanzaa, shoot.
Harvey Elliott went from wherever he was, Blackburn, to starting every match before he broke his leg. And he was the best player in those first 4 games in 2021. So Kwanzaa, dude, perfect. I'm glad you brought that up because I was trying to think of another one. Kwanzaa slots right in and you're like, oh, he's got it. Like
he has it. Right.
Yeah. Like we don't have to worry about like building him up like we did with Jones. We had to wait for Jones.
We did. You're right.
You know,
it was a few years actually. You're like, this guy's good, but you got to wait. Nico Williams was another one until we sold him. And Connor Bradley. There's one.
I was just going to say Connor Bradley. He jumped in. Is Nyoni the guy this year? That would be very exciting.
Oh my God. I hope so. He
It
is
doesn't solve
exciting.
the number 6 issues we have. We need one more, and we need a center back. And a right wing if you want to get greedy.
Yeah.
But
Harvey Elliott can play right wing.
Yep.
Lyle says Doak as well. I think he might be on the fence. I get what you're saying though, because once he made his appearances, for me, he did pass the eye test. Credible source as well on this. And so I saw this link as well this morning. Doak is linked with loan moves to Leicester and Southampton, which honestly would be good for him because he's not playing that much. He's not going to play that much. Even if, let's say Salah goes down, you guys know Jota or Diaz are going to be playing out there, right?
I think Slot's got a plan for that already.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's like, okay, we have all these attackers. I can't play 4 guys on the left wing in one match. So somebody's got to switch. He's like, who wants to switch? Who wants to be the backup right winger?
Yeah. And Sepp's like, I'm here.
Sepp's like, I'll start. I'm not backing anybody up though.
Dude, Sepp Vandenberg wasn't. I mean, really, our defenders weren't. There was maybe a point in the first half where our defenders had to work a little bit, but I wasn't really watching the defenders as much. And did you see anything that really stood out to you with Sepp? Because I didn't.
He's got more pace than I thought.
Okay.
That's for sure. He's got way more pace than I thought. And when we were reading through his strengths and weaknesses recently, they were talking about how he's an aerial threat.
Oh, yeah.
And I could see that. He looks like a man now.
He does. He looks like
he came in as a boy, and he looks like he looks the part. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
He's bigger now.
I didn't know want him to sniff the pitch.
I had to ask the chat. I said, "Who's next to Kwanzaa?" I had no idea.
Yeah, and I said Sepp with like a crying face. Like, how do you not know?
Oh my gosh!
But I still don't want him to sniff the pitch, Kyle.
I know you don't, and I don't think any of us do. We just
is he better than Nat Phillips? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
he's faster. He's better in the air. He probably doesn't have the same football IQ as Nat, based on experience.
The only thing that Nat has, well, there's 2 things that Nat have going for him. It's probably IQ, and it's probably just effort. Nat Phillips will die for the badge.
Yeah, is Sepp gonna risk his life to stop a goal? No, probably not. But Nat will.
Yeah, but skill-wise, Sepp has way more skill than Nat. Nat's just not nearly as agile as Sepp.
Okay, if you're okay, listen. If you are in a final tomorrow, a cup final, and the only players you have available are the players we had the other day,
this is
who's starting next to Kwanzaa?
The only players?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I don't know. Who would I start?
Sepp or Nat in a cup final.
You make me like, part of me wants me to just say Sepp because Sepp is who started with Kwanzaa. But I know I'm not going to answer it because I know what you're getting at. Doug says, I'm convinced that Sepp Vandenberg will be here. Nat Phillips and Reece Williams and Billy Cometio will be gone. Who the hell is Billy Cometio, bro? He played 1 match in preseason like 4 years ago. See you later.
Davey says what he's saying here is Sepp Vandenberg is far better than Nat. I don't know if I'm buying that. I just don't know. There's no way of me knowing either way. I'm not saying that's not true, but I don't know how we can say that. Nat's older. How old is Nat? And why is he still here?
He's got to be like 27, 28, something like that.
Dude,
he's still here because he signed that extension after he saved our lives. He saved the club from relegation, Steve. The club didn't have a single center back. And Nat said, I'll just go put my life on the line for this club. And they said, all right, we'll give you an extension and $64K a week. How's that sound, Nat? And he said, yeah, sign me up. You want to loan me to Preston? Sure. You want to
He was
loan me
at
to
Cardiff.
Cardiff? Whatever.
He was at Celtic and Cardiff last year.
He didn't play a damn minute, did he?
I actually don't know. Doug, you might know. Somebody look that up.
No,
How much
Nat's
did
only
Nat Phillips play?
25. Damn, Nat's
Oh,
only
he's
25.
27. He's 27 and a half. I just looked it up.
Okay, so he is 27 and a half. Come on, Doug.
A little bit less than half. He's 27. He'll be 28 in March.
All right. So,
That's old.
yeah, I mean, it is. But, dude, the reason we haven't got rid of him is just because you need the cover, right? They know that they probably told him. They probably pulled him into the office. They said, look, this is what you're going to get. If we have injuries and we need players, you're going to play. If not, you're going to be on loan. He said, okay, I'm fine with that. And clearly, because he knows if he goes anywhere else, he's probably not going to get the same money, not even close.
$65K weekly. I want to see how much he played. Here we go. 23-24 for Celtics, six matches, 3 starts. For Cardiff, 18 matches, 17 starts. Okay. And that was in the championship. All right. So he played 24 matches last season, and he started 20 of them.
Yeah, but when you go to Celtic and you can't get on the pitch.
Well, that was the second club. I think he went to Cardiff first.
I know, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you go to Celtic and you can't get on the pitch.
I don't know how long he was there, though.
That's a good point.
He may have only been there for 10 games, and he played in 6 of them. I don't know.
Well, I remember,
Kyle, they won the premiership.
True. I just remember watching I think it was the Europa League highlights, or maybe Conference League, whatever Celtic was in. Maybe it was Champions League. I don't even know what it was. But
who knows?
Nat Phillips didn't start when I watched that. And he didn't, I don't even think he got subbed on. And I was like, what is going on here? Why is Nat not playing? And, Reese Williams. What happened to Reese Williams? I mean, these are all players. I mean, I know things happen in football, and I know we have better options now. I mean, Kwanzaa's just above and beyond anything we could have expected from a young 20, 21-year-old. So that's great.
Oh,
but,
actually, I figured it out. Go ahead.
Okay, tell me.
He joined. So he went to Cardiff second. So he was at Celtic from August 31st to January 3rd, and he barely played. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, we probably cut the loan short and said, okay, he's not playing. Let's send him somewhere where he is going to play. And then he went to Cardiff.
Okay.
And then he got to Cardiff January 30th, right at the end of the window. And he started 17 out of 18 matches or something with them. So he must have been a nailed-on starter for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
January to the end of May or whatever, half the season, 18. Yeah. He must have just been like a staple in their side after that.
Well, that's good. That's good.
But that's the championship, and
which is still very competitive.
It is, and they finished 12th. They're mid-table side, so it could be worse.
Yeah, could be worse. And I actually kind of agree with who said it here. Someone said no one. Oh, Davey here says the reason we haven't gotten rid of him is because no one wants to buy him. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised. I mean, he might be one of those players that is just with us until his contract runs out. He did play against Real Betis, and one of the only chances Betis had in the game was when Nat Phillips was playing. Not saying it's all his fault. I'm just saying, they got in behind there. But overall, bro, I don't think Nat Phillips is going to play any sort of part in the team this season. We're going to get someone else. But why are we the only team transitioning away from play style and analysis of the match? Why are we the only team that has not signed anybody?
I don't know, but he did play. He did play in the Champions League for Celtic. Legend. Why have we not signed anybody, dude? I have no idea.
What are we doing?
Dude, we have this conversation every week. No one knows. No one has any idea what's going on.
And
there's Lynx.
Lynx FC.
Wait. I have a thought. Remember I said last week we were going to get Frimpong?
Sure.
Is he still available? He hasn't gone anywhere, right? Because I haven't followed up on that at all.
No, I don't think he's.
But what if we get Frimpong, and then Trent goes into midfield with McAllister in that double pivot? Oh my God! What do you think?
That would be kind of insane.
That would be nuts.
That would be nuts. That would. Oh my God!
It's absurd. It's disgusting to think about.
It is kind of, dude. Trent and McAllister
with those balls over the top in this new system.
Dude, Trent
the
with
they turn, they can put the ball anywhere they want.
Dude, anywhere on a string. You could have Sepp on the right wing, and he's getting the ball every time.
Yeah, on a dime.
Oh my God, bro! I applaud you. That's actually a very good, astute observation, Steve. But
Dude,
I think
crazy.
The problem still remains defensively, and it's only depth. It's only depth. It's not quality, it's depth. And go ahead.
What about Mark Gahey?
Yeah, I saw heavy links with him. Yeah, what's going on with him, man? I would love to get him in. Pick him up.
Dude, that's exactly we need that. That's exactly what we need. He probably costs what, 50, 60? Or are they asking more? I have no idea.
Probably I'm gonna say 50. Let's say 50. What's his market value?
38.
38. So they'll probably ask for 50 or 60. Guys, in the chat, what do you think of Gahey? Hannah says, apparently we weren't even in for that guy who ended up at United. I think he got injured. First match, I think he got injured. He was limping off.
Who, Yoro?
Yoro, yep. The caption
I couldn't care less about that guy.
The caption was, welcome to man's football.
Dude, anyone, yeah, exactly. Anyone that is going to be, what is he, 17 or 18?
He's young, yeah.
Anyone that is going to come out at that age, and maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
You're probably
and like almost demand that they go to Real Madrid. Like that's the only place I'm going. It's been confirmed by credible sources that that's what he said. And that's what he wanted. And then there's this long dragged out transfer saga. And then you end up somewhere else. Like I automatically have a bad taste in my mouth about you.
Look, it's
You're
arrogant.
too young to be making demands. Okay.
You are. And look, bro, do we know it's him or is it the agent? Because you know a lot of times it's the agent. All right. Aylor says, well, they said it in Slot's first press conference. This is going back to the transfers, guys, where Hughes attended, and I saw this as well, that July would be quiet and things would happen in August. And so this is so Slot could make a good assessment of what he had already. And I like this idea. I like this approach a lot. You know, give him, how many preseason matches we played in the U.S.? 4? 3 or 4? So
I think 3.
3? Okay. Because we play Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and then
South Carolina.
Yes. Good. Yep. That's exactly it. And so this will give him enough time to assess what he has, right? And then when he realizes that, you know, crap, I do need a defender, right? Now, again, 11 of our players or 12 of our players aren't even back yet, right? I mean, Jota and I think Robertson are back now, but they're not playing. But you gotta see everybody. But I think it's good that he's not seeing the best players right now because then he can assess, all right, are these players good enough to be the backup players? I don't think we make a single midfield signing. Like, I think we are good midfield-wise. And I think defensively, I like where your head's at with Frimpong and then Trent in the midfield, bro.
Dude, you don't think we need a defensive midfielder?
Oh, defensive midfielder, yes. But for some reason, I think overall the depth in midfield is great right now. But yeah, I guess I don't want to be a hypocrite. I do think we need a 6. But the thing is, if we're talking about Trent going in there, which is just complete speculation, do you need a 6?
Well,
Everyone
I'm looking
agrees.
through Fabrizio Romano's Twitter right now. He hasn't tweeted anything about Liverpool.
Not a damn thing. And he's active,
Nothing,
bro.
dude.
I wake up every Sunday, every day for that matter, with over 30 tweets from him. And I look at every single one. Right now, to be fair, I probably should be looking at like David Ornstein and David Lynch and those guys for Liverpool stuff. But not a damn thing from Fabrizio Romano. All right. Can you say this after one game, bro?
Oh no, dude. He was so good last year. Can't
But
forget about that.
he was ass against
Yeah,
Betis.
but you can't forget about that. Come on.
Yeah. Look, it's
Dude,
a little
Szoboszlai was ass for half the year. No one wants him sold.
yeah.
Diaz was ass.
Oh, he was terrible. He's really bad. I wouldn't say
Nunez
terrible.
was ass.
Okay. Oh, I saw a graphic this morning, which was kind of interesting, and I can't confirm this, but Doug, you're in here today. Thank you for that. So let me know. It showed Darwin Nunez, and it said 44 goals and appearances, and then a quote under it, $100 million flop. Then it showed Vinicius, 39 goals and assists, give him the Ballon d'Or. So less than Darwin, but he's being called one of the best players in the world. And what I will say about this is I looked at that and I thought to myself, holy crap, that's me. I have been calling for, like, I think Vinicius is one of the best players in the world, if not the best player. But statistically, he's not adding up to Darwin. Is this true?
Well, I think I saw a graphic like that too, but you got to remember Vinicius Jr. plays on the wing, number
Fair.
one. And not to mention, Darwin Nunez stats could have been way higher than what they already were.
Right.
Dude, we just need, like Darwin, you just have to convert 50% of those chances. I don't expect perfection. But like hit the woodwork like 5 less times.
Bro, he hit the woodwork so many times.
Those 5 tap-ins that you missed, score 2 or 3 of them, and we win the league. Like, hit the woodwork a few less times and convert some of those nailed-on tap-ins, and we win the league. That's all we need. And you can bet that they think about those things too. Like, do we need another striker? No, we just need Darwin to be a little bit better. Like, a little bit better.
And that's why when I see us being linked with strikers like Yorkis of Sporting, and I'm like, why? Why are we being linked with a striker? We don't need one. We have 12 strikers. Or at least 12 center forwards. We
have 2 strikers. I guess if you count Gakpo, it's 3.
It's 3. Right. But honestly, if we're playing a false 9 or like an inverted striker, a 10, even it looks like we played with 2 10s against Betis, or 2 false 9s, which I didn't even know was a thing. It was actually kind of cool. But you don't need any forwards, right? Now, if you're going to play a 4-2-3-1, you do need strikers. But IBR Seller says, I'm pretty sure Darwin set a world. There's no doubt in my mind. Guys, we witnessed history last year.
No, yeah, that was the most of all time, I think.
It's insane. We witnessed history. Dan's would probably be 4. Yeah, but the question, I mean, he's good. At least from what we saw last year, he's really good. But
he's a cup guy.
Yeah, he's a cup guy. And can I ask you,
would
Steve,
like to see him go out on loan. I mean, to play.
Let me ask you this. I think Tyler Morton should go out on loan again. Do you think Bajcetic or Nyoni should go out on loan? I know it's a little early. I know I'm throwing you this with a lot of uncertainty.
Neither.
You want to keep both. I like that.
Yeah, I do. Only because Bajcetic is like 2 years removed from being our best player for like a couple months. I think problem is he needs to play to make sure that he can stay healthy. He's just not going to play a ton here. As far as I can tell, he's not going to play a ton. So I think it's best for him to go out on loan, but selfishly, I'd like to keep him here just in case. Imagine, I mean, Jones is hurt. He's always going to pick up knocks.
It's just
Endo
crazy.
can pick up a knock. Then what?
I mean,
Especially
Endo,
if we don't sign a defensive midfielder, then what?
right? Just the eye test. It's hard for me to say who's a better player because I've only seen Nyoni play like a full long match once, and it was preseason. Nyoni for me right now is just above Bajcetic. But again, Bajcetic has been injured for like a year now. Keep both of them. And in the Cup and FA Cup, they can play. Let them play. And you'll figure out what you have. Everyone else has got to go on loan. Okay? I mean, everybody. Owen Beck, Kumas, even Ben Doak, Harvey Blair.
See you later.
Maybe you can keep Cade Gordon around if you want.
I would keep Ben Doak over Gordon.
Yeah, me too. But I'm going to be honest.
He plays on the right wing and he wants to attack. He's aggressive. He's going to dribble at you. He's going to run past you. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's just always
And we thought he was going to play last season.
We did until he got injured. He had a brutal knee injury. Yeah. And I like Ben Doak. I really do. Even I think he picked the ball up like once. As soon as he gets it, he's like, I'm going forward. I'm not waiting for anybody.
Yeah, I think he should stay.
Oyvind, what's going on, man? Doug says Jane Dan's is going to Plymouth on loan. Is this Plymouth Argyle?
Legends.
Plymouth Argyle, bro. Absolutely legendary. Stellar says Bajcetic needs a season with a champion side or a Dutch league. All right. So let's take a look at where we're at, Steve, as we round up the show today. Overall, what is your thought on what you saw against Betis in terms of attack, defense, and not even who we need, but just your overall impressions of the system?
Different. Going to take some getting used to. A little nervy at the back, but exciting because it's something different.
So
I'm
you're
not going to put any stock into what we saw the other day because our players aren't here.
Right.
So we'll see come week 1 of the season, which is like less than 3 weeks away.
It's crazy. Now, so you're now feeling a little bit different of like, I don't like how we're looking. Like, I don't like this style. Are you feeling different?
I don't love it still.
Okay.
Because of how perfect it seems like you have to be at the back. And I don't know if that's how it's going to end up. But I felt like there's a lot of pressures on the center back to be very accurate with one-touch passes in high-pressure situations with no time, no space. I don't want to see that. Konate, to me, doesn't have the skill to be accurate with one-touch passing consistently. I don't think he has that. We would be relying on him to use both feet accurately with one-touch passing. Again, it's preseason. Who knows how it's going to look or what's going to be expected of them, but I don't like that. Other than that, I'm just excited to see how this pans out and progresses throughout the rest of preseason.
So attacking-wise, you're feeling pretty good. I do think
whatever.
I want to see Jota next match. I want to see how Jota, like a out-and-out center forward, fits into the system, and then we can analyze it a little bit more because playing without a striker, even so, we still saw the runs in behind from the wide players. I would love to see it with guys who are built to play centrally, running in behind, and see what players can do from the midfield, whether it's Jones. I don't know if Jones is going to play, but shoot, Nyoni. Put Nyoni in there with Jota. Let me just see what that creates, guys. Overall, I'm excited, like you said, Steve. And guys, I appreciate everyone else being here. Good show this morning, good analysis, and I'm excited. I haven't been this excited in a while just to watch the games because I'm looking for new things. I'm looking for what different players can offer us in this new system. I'm looking for how the players adapt to slot system. I'm excited that it's a new, quick style of football. I couldn't tell you how cool it was to watch one-touch football, runs in behind. To me, that was the best part of the match against Betis. And to be fair, we controlled the whole match. I really didn't. There was maybe one or two moments where I didn't feel very confident, and I felt like Betis should score. But overall, it was pretty good. So thank you guys again for being here and showing your support for the show today. Give the stream a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and guys, we'll be back next Sunday to analyze the match and Slot and the players further. All right. Appreciate it. Until next time, Reds. Take care.